Hello, my name's Peter Dunn. I'm the minister here at Waipu Presbyterian. We're a rural parish in the far north. We have about 80 members, about 120 people who come to church from time to time, and it's a good parish to belong to. When I came to Waipu, this was my first parish. I had many dreams and expectations about what a church like this could do, and they included being a church that grew, that attracted people, brought people into the faith. We've been a little bit successful, but I have to say that my dreams have not been fulfilled. This parish has been very outward focused. We have many outreach activities, and over a week we will be reaching between 200 or 300 people. This is a very prayerful church, and we put a lot of work into what we do. We try to do it to an excellent standard. But at the end of the day, we see very little fruit for our outreach, and yeah, we're beginning to wonder whether we're actually engaged in mission or not. We've reached the stage where we're looking at what we're doing and all the effort we're putting in, from prayer through to practical things, and we're wondering, why isn't the church growing? Where are the new people coming into the church? And we have asked some very honest questions and come to the conclusion that the missing ingredient for us is proclaiming the gospel. Earlier this year I came across the ESI resources, which are a course on evangelism. We've begun a small group, an evangelism course, and the course contains a set of DVD teaching, books to read, tracts and other books to help in sharing the gospel. And what I'm saying to our folk is that I don't really want to treat this as a course, but as a way of learning the gospel. I'm also saying that we're not going to spend just 6 weeks on this, but we're going to take as long as it takes to begin to create a culture change in our church, from not sharing the gospel to sharing the gospel. One of the big changes I've seen in that church is actually me. Coming from a background where I was young, I used to share the gospel, to being sort of strategized off the gospel field, as it were. I'm now engaging again in sharing the gospel, and it's exciting. It's bringing a new sense of joy to my ministry, and to be able to sit down with someone and instead of just offering prayer, saying, hey, do you want to hear what Jesus taught about salvation, and making a presentation that actually has an impact. In the group that we have, I'm also noticing folk who were full of fear and apprehension, even being ashamed of what the gospel message is, actually engaging with the gospel, and coming to the point where after probably 8 weeks, I think it was, they're beginning to share the gospel spontaneously. Over 20 years I've introduced many courses to our church to try and get some go forward, to get growth, to get people enthusiastic. Some have worked, I have to say, but the majority I don't even think we can remember what they were. Now with this course, what I'd like to say, it is not a course. It's actually teaching the gospel. It's not something that you do and then leave behind. The whole strength and beauty of the ESI resources is that it's targeted to make a DNA change in a New Zealand context for New Zealand churches. Last year, as an eldership, we looked for a course on evangelism. I found one that is well known, brought it back to my elders, and it just didn't gel with them. When I came across the ESI resources, I read the preface, and that was only the preface of Julian Batchelor's book, and in that preface he outlines how the gospel has been killed, put to death as it were, in our church. And I just had to say yes, yes on every page, and it really witnessed to me that here was something that, you know, just spoke and would change me. Just the preface of a book changed me, and so I took the course on. I'm impressed with the content of the course. It is biblical, it is relevant, it is very much along the lines of scriptural teaching. When it's taught, I preach it. On Sunday I teach it on our Monday night course, and I just get the real sense that the Holy Spirit is doing something very new in our church. I can recognise it because we're asking very honest questions, and people are responding. And although it's the questions are really hard, like, you know, what are we on about as a church? Why aren't things working? People are beginning to understand again that the missing ingredient is the gospel presentation, and I just highly recommend this course.
I think for the short time that we've been doing the course, it's had an amazing effect. For me, it's like the penny has finally dropped after 27 years, that the essential thing that we've been asked to do by Christ is to actually share the gospel with people, and it can only really be done by speaking it out. I've been a Christian for 27 years, and I'm married to someone who's not. And for 27 years I have tired myself out trying to be a good Christian, a loving wife, which is a good thing to do. But I feel that I've got more further in 10 minutes by just sharing the gospel with him last Sunday than I have in 27 years. Well, I was quite nervous about doing it with him. Once I'd finished, I felt this tremendous sense of joy and peace, and I could just feel I could hand him over to God now. For 27 years I've been praying and saying, He's yours, He's yours. But I really felt that this time I could say, right, Lord, I've done my bit, now you can water the seed. And one of the amazing things was that night I had a perfectly good sleep, whereas normally I'm a bit of an insomniac, and this time I slept like a baby, and I just felt really light and happy and joyous about the fact that I'd had the courage to share that with him. From the moment I became a Christian, when I was converted, I knew that that was one of the requirements, that I should share the gospel. And I've done numerous courses on evangelism, and I've been out with people witnessing to them in parks and in hospitals, but I never had a real message to give them. No one actually gave it to me in a nutshell. And now that we've been working on that and I've got it as a tool in my toolbox, it's just so much easier to give them the reasons as to why Christ died on the cross for them. Why was it necessary? That's always been a component that's been missing for me. Based on my experience this week, where I actually shared the gospel twice, and I'm still at the beginning of doing it, I've been thinking about what the church would be like if we all went out and just did that simple 10-minute presentation, even to one person a week. And based on my experience, again, I think we'd be filled with joy, we'd be exhilarated, we'd feel liberated, we'd really feel in partnership with God, and that we were doing what we were being asked to do. The other highlight, or a piece of learning that's really sunk into me this week, is the many ways that Satan actually tries to stop us from sharing the gospel. He plants fear in our hearts about doing it, and he lets us think other people are doing it, so you don't have to do it. And we just build up with this fear, but once we let go and we trust God and ask Him for the opportunities, and we have the tool to do it with, it is just really simple, and we don't have to be scared of Satan. I really look forward to the day that all Christians are going to be discipled into sharing the gospel the way that we are learning it, because I think that's a really important part of the commission that we've been given.